What if I told you there was a school of thought in economics that focuses on individual choice, limited government, and the belief that free markets can solve most problems? It's called Austrian Economics. While it's not as mainstream as Keynesian or neoclassical economics, its ideas have influenced everything from public policy to investment strategies. Today on Bear Economics, we'll explore what Austrian economics is, the key principles, and how it challenges mainstream economic thinking. Let's get into it. What is Austrian economics? Austrian economics gets its name from its founders, who were based in Austria in the late 19th century and the better part of the early 20th century. So think Karl Menger, Ludwig von Mises, Friedrich Hayek, Murray Rothbard. It's a school of thought that emphasizes human action, meaning that economics is fundamentally about how individuals make decisions. Unlike the other schools who rely heavily on mathematical models and aggregates, Austrian economics starts with people, their goals, values, and the choices that they make in a world of scarcity. This focus on the individual is what sets it apart. To Austrians, the economy isn't just a machine to be fine-tuned by governments and central banks. It's a dynamic process driven by billions of individual decisions, constantly adjusting to changes in supply, demand, and innovation. Here are some of the main principles of Austrian economics. Austrian economics is built on a set of interrelated principles that emphasize the role of individual choice, subjective values, and dynamic market processes. While individual scholars may highlight different aspects, here are the main principles embraced across the Austrian tradition. Methodological individualism. Austrians maintain that economic phenomena arise from the actions and decisions of individuals. Rather than viewing the economy as a single entity, they analyze it through the lens of human choices and behaviors. Subjective theory of value. In contrast to objective labor theories of value, Austrians assert that the value is subjective, determined by personal preferences, circumstances, and needs of individuals. This subjectivity is what drives the formation of the market process. Marginal utility, the concept that the additional satisfaction derived from consuming one more unit of a good decreases as consumption increases. This principle helps explain why individuals make trade-offs and how market prices adjust based on demand. Praxeology, the study of human action. Many Austrian economists approach economics as a branch of praxeology, the logical analysis of purposeful human behavior. They argue that understanding the motivations behind individual actions is key to understanding economic phenomena. Entrepreneurship and market process. Austrians emphasize the role of the entrepreneur in discovering and exploiting opportunities. They see markets as dynamic, ever-changing processes where entrepreneurs drive innovation and resource allocation through their decision-making. Time preference and opportunity cost. Recognizing that individuals value present goods over future ones, Austrians incorporate time preference into their analysis of interest rates, savings, and investment. This notion also ties into the broader concept of opportunity cost, the idea that choosing one option always comes at the expense of another. Spontaneous order. Austrians argue that free markets naturally evolve into complex, self-organizing systems without the need for central planning. Order emerges organically from the voluntary interactions of individuals pursuing their own interest. Critique of central planning and government intervention. Austrian economists are generally skeptical of government interventions in the economy. They contend that central planning distorts price signals and undermines the ability of markets to allocate resources efficiently, often leading to the unintended consequences like business cycles. These principles collectively shape an approach that views the economy as a dynamic, decentralized process driven by human action rather than by impersonal forces and central authority. This perspective has led Austrian economists to advocate for policies that emphasize individual freedom, limited government, and market-based solutions. So how does Austrian economics differ from the mainstream. Let's compare it to Keynesian economics, which dominates most modern economic policies. Role of government. Keynesians believe government intervention is necessary to stabilize the economy. Austrians, on the other hand, see government intervention as the root cause of economic instability. Use of models. Mainstream economics relies heavily on mathematical models to predict and manage the economy. Austrians reject this approach, arguing that human behavior is too complex to fit into equations. Money and credit. Austrians believe the central banks, like the Federal Reserve, create distortions by manipulating interest rates. Mainstream economics, however, sees the central banks as essential tools for managing inflation and employment. Focus on aggregates versus individuals. While Keynesians focus on aggregates, like GDP, unemployment, and inflation, Austrians zero in on individual choices and market processes. So essentially, Austrian economics takes a bottom-up approach, while mainstream economics often takes a top-down approach. Why should you care about Austrian economics? Because it offers a different perspective on how economics work and how policies affect your life. For example, think about inflation. Austrians argue that printing money doesn't create wealth, it just redistributes it, often hurting savers and the poor while benefiting those who get the money first, like big banks and the government. Or consider the housing crisis of 2008. Austrians would say it was caused by the artificially low interest rates and government policies ensuring excessive borrowing. Their solution? Less intervention, not more. Whether you agree with it or not, Austrian economics forces us to question whether the systems we rely on today are truly sustainable. The takeaway? Austrian economics isn't about quick fixes or government handouts. It's about trusting individuals and markets to find their own balance. While it may not always align with mainstream thinking, it offers powerful insights into how economies function and how we can make better choices as individuals. So what do you think? Is Austrian economics the key to a better future? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.